welcome everyone back to the CBRC podcast. And today, very excited to share the next use case from Balize and Marcel Miro, who is the CTO. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Marcel to do his introduction, and then we'll learn more about their project. So welcome, Marcel.
Thank you, Anthony. Well, a bit of a quick introduction about myself first. I'm Marcel, the CTO of Balize. I basically have more than 5 years of experience building startups. So working for startups, but also building startups, right from concept, like from an idea to a launch, to an MVP. Specifically focused on web development and building websites, both front and back and etc. But also blockchain with smart contracts and all that blockchain, what blockchain technology entails. So yeah, I mean that's a bit about myself. What we do here is basically my job is to lead the development of the platform in our tech department team. And well, a bit about Balize is it was founded by brother and sister Gerard and Joanna Marbella back in Valencia. Gerard is more of the crypto expert. He loves blockchain. He loves technology. So he's a lot of focused on that area. While Joanna was a lawyer for the Spanish government. So she's very focused on the legality of our product, of our company, and is working very hard to make all this happen. So yeah, basically we were founded 1.5 years ago, so a year and a half, and we built an MVP at the start of 2023. Now, this MVP, we believe we can do so much more using blockchain technology, which is why we're currently developing a new one, which is the one I'm going to talk to you about.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Now, a bit of a stat about the company, because of course, 2023 was the first calendar year for the company. So we achieved 1.5 million euros in total value locked in investments, over 1,500 investors, and we actually launched and purchased, and right now we're managing more than 10 properties. Now, hope I mean if you have any questions, please let me know.
No, that's great. So you know, just so the viewers and listeners know, so what actually is the solution? So because the metrics we'll come back to because they're very good. So just talk us through, you know, for people who've never heard of this, and even the sort of tokenization of real estate. Just talk us through from the beginning the project. That'd be great.
Yeah, of course. So at the beginning of the year, we started to tokenize the platform, like the platform assets. However, I mean, tokenization is very new to the world, and there's a lot of legal compliance we have to achieve. So when we started, we actually realized that tokenization was not possible, specifically at the start of 2023, which meant we had to switch our focus to a more like what we call préstamo participativo, which is sort of like a loan for investors, where they participate on the gains of the properties.
Okay, so just 1 second there, sorry. So what you originally tried to do was tokenize an entire property as such.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, but not obviously, but let's explain to the viewers that that's very difficult legally, regulatory at this stage, because there's no clear regulations. So you have this property, this building, and what you wanted to do was basically say, let's tokenize it, and then we can sell those tokens. And basically, we split it into 100 tokens, let's say.
Exactly.
We sell each of the tokens for $100 each, 100 euros. And that's the property tokenized. That was the vision at the start. And I think that's still what most people think tokenization of real estate happens today.
Of course.
But obviously there's this thing called rules and regulations in the world. So talk us about how you move from, you know, the basic thought process to actually really doing this.
Yeah, exactly. So when we realized we could not do this, I mean, the short-term action we did was basically remove all the tokenization aspects of our platform. Now this has been working like this in our MVP platform until now. When we're developing, like we've designed a new system to comply with the legal aspects in the Spanish law in Spain, where we're at. So that we can actually say that we're tokenizing a real estate asset. Now, it doesn't work exactly this way. What it means is that for every new, of course, for every new property we upload to the platform, we have to validate it with this, what we call, it's the CNMV. which is sort of the SEC alternative to Spain.
Okay. So that's the
Now,
regulatory authority.
exactly.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for every new property we upload to the platform, we create an SPV. Now, an SPV is sort of a company that holds the 100% of the property. Now, this is because you like, due to law again. I mean, there's also of law here. We cannot tokenize, of course, real estate assets. So it's impossible to tokenize properties. It's going to be impossible, I believe, for at least the next 5 years, unless something changes drastically. So what we do is basically we create a company which holds the property, and now we can tokenize up the company. So it's sort of tokenizing the property, but it's actually through a company that we're really tokenizing.
Okay.
Now,
what you do, so just to keep the viewers on track. So basically what you do, you go and buy a property, you know, so €1 million, and then you put that property, the rights and asset of that property, into a company, and then it's the company that you're then going to tokenize.
exactly. Yeah.
To work with the Spanish laws and rules as they sit today.
Correct. Yeah.
Cool.
So basically, when we tokenize this company, what we create is a smart contract in the blockchain. Now, this smart contract, it's the ERC 3643. It's a specific, let's say it's like a normal ERC20 token, but this token actually holds extra capabilities, extra functions, basically for token management. And now, so for example, to force transactions for users, etc. We honestly, we're forced to do this basically because of law. I mean, if the Spanish law suddenly wants to block someone's token, then we're forced to do this. But yeah, it's basically works that way. We also, for example, this smart contract also holds also has linked an Oracle. An Oracle, for those that don't know, is basically like a way, an infrastructure that can actually connect outside of smart contracts. So basically, smart contracts, it's like a vault where they cannot communicate with the outside world. Now, oracles allow to open this vault and basically connect and speak to other entities, to other APIs outside of the smart contract. Now, we use this basically for KYC. So every token holder they use smart contracts are required to be KYC'd by us, basically, which means that well, everything is done through the platform, but of course you can always your wallet is already KYC by us in the blockchain, and basically transfer tokens, buy, sell, etc.
So just on that again, for keep the viewers on track. So basically, I would open a Balize wallet, which is on the Ethereum network, and the KYC is done as it would be for my bank account, etc. You know, on Feeder or on Data, those sort of companies, they would do the KYC. So you're doing the KYC rules along with the regulation and rules we have today. And that means you know that Anthony is the owner of that wallet. And
exactly.
then that wallet is where we're going to hold the tokens, in essence, the ownership rights to the company and to the property, in essence.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is basically the next thing I want to talk about, which is wallets. Wallet management. We basically allow people to connect to their own wallet. So, for example, if they have MetaMask, their own private wallet, we allow them to connect their wallet. Of course, we need to verify your identity first, and verify the ownership of that. So basically, link your wallet with your identity. And now that wallet, we enable it to actually own assets and tokens of that asset in their own wallet. Now, for of course, one of the main aims we have in Balize is to allow everyone to actually use the blockchain. That means that, of course, installing MetaMask or installing a wallet in your phone, of course, it's very complex. You need you need that knowledge of what's this blockchain, what's our wallets, how our wallets created, etc. Which means that it's very cumbersome. It actually takes a lot of time for someone to learn and to actually install and use a wallet. To solve that issue, we basically create what we call it's non-custodial wallets. Now, non-custodial wallets, it means that we create a wallet for every user in our platform.
Yeah.
And it's actually and users actually have the access to that wallet through our platform, but we cannot actually perform any action on their wallet. So basically, that user needs to actually validate each action that's performed in their wallet. In our case, for example, we do it with biometrics. So for example, you hold your wallet on your phone, but then to actually sell a token, you need to scan your face or actually the phone to read your fingerprint to actually use and perform an action on your wallet. So it's quite cool. I mean, it's everything is done in the backend, which means that users don't actually have to know what's happening in the back, what's happening behind the infrastructure side. They just know that using our platform is safe and secure. Which is quite cool. Now,
sorry. So I can basically, I would sign up to your platform, then I'd get a wallet which is connected to the Ethereum network where it stores my tokens, and then I can then transact. And is the exchange within your platform, or is the
it's in progress. So yeah, right now we're building what we call the internal marketplace. If you want, I can talk to you about that later. Of course, when we have a property, so when users invest in a property and that property is being rented to someone else, we get paid, of course, like the rent of each property. Now this money that we get from the renters actually gets uploaded per se to the blockchain through an on-ramp. An on-ramp is sort of the infrastructure that allows Web2, what we call Web2 fiat, so euros, dollars, etc., to be moved into the blockchain through a stablecoin, for example. Now, what we do here is basically create an ERC20 smart contract that represents the balance of each user. So let's say one token is equal to €1. And when we distribute dividends, when we distribute the earnings of a property monthly, on a monthly basis, this money gets distributed to every investor in each property on equal sides. So for example, let's say you invested 10%, the 10% of the total value in a property. So you each month will get paid 10% of the rent money we get from the rentee.
And if that comes to me as a is it a Balize token or what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a Balize token.
Comes into my wallet. So say it's €100 worth of income for that month. Comes into my wallet as a Balize token. What can I do with that token?
Of course. Well, you're able to reinvest in any other property. So right now, what we do at Balize, I mean, up until the beginning of this year, we allow them investors to invest right from €100. However, we've changed the target. We basically are looking for more experienced and higher net worth individuals. So we basically now the minimum amount is €10,000. However, when reinvesting in other properties, the minimum amount will be straight from €100, which means that you will basically be able to earn from other properties and still reinvest in new ones. That also means, I mean, specifically for the Spanish market, I mean, you would have to pay like a tax on the earnings you gain. But with reinvestments, of course, you don't have to pay tax, which I mean, for most users, I mean, we're seeing quite a lot of interest of people to actually reinvest their earnings instead of actually withdrawing it from the platform.
So I could then, so I earn, you know, my €100, you know, sort of income for this month on property A. I can reinvest that into the new property, you know, B sort of thing. So I can then own €100 worth of B, which then will give me income again later on as well. So you start to then own different properties, which I assume have different incomes and different costs, etc.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Different properties also have different types of operations. I mean, we do have properties that are short terms, such as, for example, 6 months, which is buying, renovating, and selling. But we also have properties of 5, 10 years, which is buying, sometimes renovating, sometimes not. But then, renting that property, having that property for 5 years, then and then we basically distribute the earnings, let's say, for the capital gains and the capital return of when selling that property.
And if you know, I've got my €100 sort of income this month, and I want to, you know, bring it out to old school fiat, you know, Web2 money, or older than that, euros in cash, how do I do that? How does that process happen?
Yeah, so that happens through an off-ramp. So I mentioned before that we use an on-ramp, which is putting money into the blockchain, but then we also involve an off-ramp, which is putting the money you have in the blockchain to the Web2 world, to fiat, for example. So right now we allow users to withdraw their balance from the platform, well, actually from the blockchain, and we basically send them bank transfers to their bank account, or we can like move those tokens into a stable coin, for example. So you can actually change 100 euros of Balize token to 100 euros of Euro C, which is Circle's Euro stable coin.
Yeah. And then you can then transfer, you could buy other crypto, put it
exactly,
into your bank account, you can do what you want. Okay, so you're giving people the options to reinvest or take it out as stable coin or take it out as good old-fashioned fiat cash.
Exactly.
And where in terms of the start of this, did so you had some investors invested, did you say 1.5 million, was it? At start, or
no, yeah, well, 1.5 million euros TVL, so people that have invested in the platform, but it's 1,500 investors.
Okay, so there's quite a few investors. So basically you get the money in. Do you buy the property first, or do you decide which property, get the money, and then buy it? How does that work?
Yeah, it basically works. So when we have a real estate team that basically analyzes a lot of properties.
Yeah.
These properties, we basically investigate on how much it will cost renovating, how much we think are we going to gain through renting that property, and even selling based on the number of years, the market, the location, etc. Now, once we do all the analyzing, we decide to go for a property. We of course make a deal with the person or the company, etc., selling that property. We make a deal with them, and they basically they hold that property for us while we're actually allowing our investors to invest in that property. Once that property we get the full amount to invest in that property, we then actually buy the property with that money. Now, of course, if anything goes wrong, because of course anything can happen, then we return the money to the investors. So everything is risk free.
Yeah. And in terms, so you set up a basically a Spanish company for each property, and then you do what you're going to do. So say you're going to keep it for 6 months. If you then sell it, that money gets returned as Balize token, and I can either invest in something else or off ramp, as you described. How does from the legal ownership perspective, the company owns it? Do I, as a token investor, become a shareholder, or what status do I have in the company that owns the property?
Yeah, you basically become a shareholder. So there's two types of things we can do here. So we basically, when we tokenize an SPV, we do one of the two things. So we allow users to earn, as I said, using a préstamo participativo, which is like some kind of loan, which you gain interest based on the difference of money that we've gained in the SPV, or we actually distribute through equity. So there's two ways. One is more tailored to B2B, the other one is B2C. Of course, we can actually switch between the use cases and between the profiles. And we're open to anything, and of course we're investigating also the best way. If in 1 month the legal compliance team says that we have to change into another method, of course we're going to change it, because we need to adapt in this world, because of course it's very new, the tokenization. So one of the most important things is to actually pivot, understand the market, and adapt to it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think so it's interesting. So basically, each property is a separate company and is part of the token network. If something happens, if things change, then that company can, in essence, sell, close, whatever it needs to, return the money, and then you move on, and you can either take your money out or reinvest. So you're always getting new opportunities, new properties, you're always getting new investors, etc. So I can see it growing. And so you use smart contracts and Ethereum network as the base of this. Is it a private Ethereum?
No, it's public. So as I say right now, we have used Ethereum up until the last three properties. We think right now we're going to move to Polygon, but of course it's one of the things we're still deciding. Now, of course, in the future, what we want to do is partner with one of the companies, one of the Oracle companies, for example, Chainlink, to actually use like a parachain, let's say, method. That means basically any token won't be restrained to a single chain, but can actually be moved between chains. The earnings can be moved between chains too, so there's no problem in actually using ERC because it's only supported in Polygon, but also using another Euro stable, like exchange to another stablecoin, which is in another. So we're investing into including that into our platform. Specifically, Chainlink is using the CCIP protocol, which is their own protocol for multi-chain solution. And yeah, that's our intention, of course. There's also, of course, other advantages of using tokenization, such as Lombard loans, which basically means that you can actually have those tokens. Like you own you imagine you invest 10,000 euros into a property. Now, of course, you own those tokens. Those tokens are in your own wallet, but you can actually use those tokens as collateral to get more money and get a loan to actually invest in other things, or to, like, for example, to invest in our platform, but also to invest in other things and make other investments with that money. So it's quite a innovative solution. Of course, it's more tailored right now to DeFi platforms and more to blockchain users. But what we want to is, of course, extrapolate that to actual like to everyone, to every user, even if they don't know what blockchain is.
Definitely. No, I think that's a good expansion, because you've invested your 10,000, you're getting a return on it, great, from the property management, etc. But also you might want to, use that collateral of 5,000 to invest in something else, etc. So it's a good ecosystem. I think the important part is that it's anchored with KYC wallets and AML sort of process, because you cannot operate without that. And then you've got the flexibility of on and off ramps and those sorts of things. So it's
The last thing, the last thing I want to talk about is what we're currently building, which is the internal marketplace. So as I said, the Balize platform will only allow investments starting from 10,000 euros. However, this will be sort of the primary market where the first the property will be sold initially. However, like the market, of course, fluctuates. The property prices fluctuates too. So when we do refinancing, the price goes up, etc. And we want to allow those to unlock the full liquidity of those properties, which means that we will be creating what we call an internal marketplace, which is attaching an AMM, an automated market maker, to every single property smart contract we have. For those that don't know, an automated market maker is sort of the alternative to an order book. So an order book, it's basically buy orders and sell orders, and when both values are the same, then you basically perform the transaction. With an AMM, there you don't need to have a seller to actually sell, and you don't so you don't need a seller to actually buy, and you don't need a buyer to actually sell, which is quite an innovative solution. And and we basically, that means that when we use it, it's going to be able, so when you invest, for example, 10,000 euros, you can actually sell 5,000 whenever you want, if you find a better investment, or if you want to use that money and you need it right now. Now, this doesn't happen. Of course, you invest in property assets. Of course, if you buy a property yourself, you of course need to sell it first and go through all the tedious things you have to do to actually sell, etc. So we believe it's a quite cool solution in our project.
Yeah, so that's sort of giving liquidity to the person if they decide after a year, say it's a 10-year investment as such. If they decide after a year they want to take out, their 5,000 or whatever, then they can basically sell their tokens to someone else who can then take on the rights and the income, etc.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
really cool. So it's very flexible. There's a lot of flexibility to investors. Yeah, I think that's very interesting, very innovative. Obviously still new, so still, high risk at the moment because regulations are changing, the markets are still changing, but I think, a great start. And it's good to see this. I think the most important thing is you doing this. This is not a research project. This is not, an academic project. This is, you guys have set up a business, you've raised money, you've got, is it 1,500 users?
Yeah, correct.
1,500 people and growing using it. So it's a great place to sort of show the potential of all of this. And, you know, that's what we like to see at CBRC. On that note, we obviously issue the CBRC score, and I'll just talk you through the score which we've given today for your project. So we've given a CBRC score of 78 out of 100. That's a great score, and it's all around blockchain applicability. So the high-level summary is real estate investment is a complex task with many different parties involved: investors, owners, land registry, landlords, regulators, etc. You know, you've just talked about the complexity there. With the Balize solution, it would make it significantly more accessible for people to, first of all, invest in real estate without having to own the big asset. And as you said, you're offering a lot of flexibility. So this gives you know, the investor access to a fraction of the equity of the property, and then it's low cost and it's quick. So, you know, you can do this quickly and fast, and as you've talked us through, that's what your platform does. And ultimately, you know, blockchain is giving you one view of the truth. So all the different parties can see who owns what and how it works. And, you know, with your new internal marketplace and the other enhancements, you can then move the equity around and move your tokens around, sort of your sort of funding. So a great score for, you know, a very interesting project. I think, you know, well done to the team for getting this far. So, you know, for now.
Thank you.
So yeah,
Thank you.
I think, you know, so on that, so obviously you're at a good space, you know, you're 18 months into this. What's next? What does it look like for the next 2 or 3 years? Obviously AMM, you know, the marketplace you're looking at. Where do you think this can get to in the bigger picture, you know, 2 or 3 years sort of?
I mean, the bigger picture, of course, is tokenizing other assets. So
Yeah.
right now we're starting with properties because we believe it's one of the most where you actually gain the most ROI, return on investment. It's easier. We believe it's the easiest one to tokenize, and that's the one we started with. However, we're already investigating in doing private equity, for example. So imagine private companies that wants to actually sell parts and stake and equity of those companies. We would be able to actually sell those tokens through tokenization and through blockchain. Now, I believe that there are many advantages in tokenizing instead of using like the real world stocks.
Yeah.
Giving a proof of ownership, etc. So yeah, we're investing into extrapolating to those markets.
Brilliant. Sounds good. Sounds like some very interesting space ahead. So if people want to get in contact, what's the website? How do they contact you?
Yeah, of course. So the website is balize.com. It's BALIZE.com.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so massive thank you for your time, Marcel. I think there's a great project. It's a great blockchain you know, solution here, and I wish you all the best and look forward to speaking to you in a few months to see how things are going. So
of course, thank you, Anthony.
for your time. Thank you, Marcel.
Thanks. Bye.